Peace, family, peace. Oh, Saturday night live, Black Magic 363. Oh, it's gonna be a fun show tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. About to introduce my Saturday night guests in a second. Before we do, want to get comfortable, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. We are live. Let me get to this couple of commercials, and we will be right back, family, right after these commercials.
This is Dr. Be Serious. Are you willing to allow the shift that's been waiting for you? Then be at the Blueprint for GodPower 2 event. I'll be teaming up with Billy Carson from Forbidden Knowledge and Brother Rich from Black Magic 363. This event will be the shift that you've been waiting for. Be there.
Now I got a whole lot of something breaking through the roof. When they walk or when they press the button, when I do a money ritual, all of a sudden money started coming. Then I cut the Holy Ghost. I still be rhyming even when I'm mumbling. You repeat my name 3 times while you staring in the mirror. Body will appear like poof. I came from out of thin air. To me the gun is like a magic wand. I make a polyp disappear. I would knock a nigga teeth out his mouth. Just to turn him to veneer. I can do magic, I can do magic. 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 When I open up my mouth, I can move masses. Black magic on the beat, turn it to a classic. I'ma take the money.
All right, family. Without further ado, I need to welcome living legends in the building, Professor Griff and Red Pillar.
Thanks.
Peace.
Welcome to the show, brothers. Welcome to the show. Real quick, shout out to KT. Listen, family, if you haven't joined Patreon, his cooking video was absolutely phenomenal. We are about to change the whole paradigm when it comes to food and when it comes to our electrical body. Not only does his brother provide a cooking show, but he drops the science behind all the food and everything that's involved in the making of the food. Is nothing like it on mainstream television or the internet. Make sure you sign to Patreon to witness the greatness of the Black Magic Electric Kitchen. First episode featuring KT, the arch degree. Oh yeah, you seen it, Calvin? Seen it? That's dope. Yeah, it was a dope episode. Yeah, I'm glad you seen it, my brother. Oh man, listen, Professor Griff, Red Pill, man, welcome back. Good to have y'all brothers back on here.
Oh, give thanks, man. It's a pleasure being back.
Always
Man.
a pleasure.
Oh, give thanks.
On this Saturday Night Live, I'm welcome.
Indeed, man. Yo, Red, I started on my YouTube career with Professor Griff, man. We had our show popping. Yo, it was
that's your golden era right there.
That was, now I'm in my metaphysical era on YouTube.
Yeah,
that was my pop culture era on YouTube. And we conquered it, man. We did our thing. We viewed it from a lens that was unique to every other website, and it was amazing. We changed the world, man. It was absolutely amazing, man.
Yeah. Now, Red, don't get pop culture confused with pop culture. All right? We're just gonna straighten that out right there. All right.
I would say that I was doing drop culture.
Right.
Right. And really, to be honest with you, the episodes with Griff and Griff and Rich, those were really bridges that y'all were actually building to help people cross over
Yes.
from the quote unquote hip hop world into the world of consciousness. Griff was like the border patrol. He was the liaison. He was the wall that they were going over and whatnot. And because y'all locked in on hot button topics, you were actually a precursor to the hip hop blogs and a lot of the things that Vlad wound up doing with Lord Jamar, amongst some other things. So kudos for that. You know, that formula that you did with Griff was a powerful formula. And that's basically a season in the era that that you did. I would love to see it. I would love to witness that. You know, the one that y'all put out there.
Indeed. Oh man, well, one of the most influential rap artists of all time. My favorite artist of all time, Tupac Shakur. I mean, they just can't stop making documentaries. They just can't stop making biopics. So much mystery surrounding this brother's death and exactly what happened. It just doesn't stop. What is it? I think we're in 20 something odd years later, 30 years later, whatever. It just keeps going. And something happened recently that got the internet talking. So let me just read a brief article real quick for y'all to get the show started.
Yes, sir.
Suspect arrested in 1996 Tupac Shakur shooting death. Some of the people watching tonight wasn't even born in 1996. That's what's interesting about this. A shout out to all of y'all. If y'all wasn't around, this brother, wow, what an amazing energy. Let me just read. A grand jury has indicted Dwayne Keefe D. I hope I'm saying it right, Davis, on charges of murder. Keefe D?
Yeah.
Keefe D. Davis on charges of murder with use of a deadly weapon in connection with the 1996 killing of rapper Tupac Shakur. Las Vegas authorities announced Davis, 60, was arrested Friday morning. Blah, blah, blah. At a Friday news conference, authorities painted Davis as the ringmaster of a plot to kill Shakur as retaliation after attack on his nephew. Davis has long placed himself at the scene of the crime, saying he was in the front seat of the white Cadillac that came up beside Shakur's car when shots rang out from the backseat, killing the musician. The rapper was shot 4 times and died 6 days later. For 27 years, the family of Tupac has been waiting for justice. The investigation started on the night of September 7, 1996. It is far from over. It has taken countless hours, really decades of work by the men and women of our homicide section to get where we are today. I'm gonna end it there on this site. This is CNN. You know, I'm gonna end it there because I got the real journalists with me today. I got the real people, a part of the culture, with me today. I got the brothers who's ready to speak honesty and truth today. With this whole death, this whole murder of Tupac, what's going on, what has been going on, and the recent events that have happened in the news, the arrest of Keefe D. Just to start out with basically, what's your thoughts on what you two are seeing transpire right now? Because this seems to be the most movement we've seen in over 2 decades. So, what's your thoughts on this? Yes.
But I think from the outstart, if we would just be very much, first of all, peace to everyone. And once again, thanks for having me on the show, Brother Rich, and peace, Pill. So listen, I'm thinking, peace, when we all of us in the culture take 2 steps back and we get we put the wide angle lens on it and we look at the big picture, there's a lot of other people and a lot of other entities involved is the reason why it took so long and we're just now getting this movement that we're getting. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you look at the other people that he claimed was in the white Cadillac with him, they're all dead. There's certain things that happen with whom these people are calling just an overall spy. This whole idea of Vlad TV, Vlad show, this whole idea of Puffy's situation, his involvement, Suge Knight's involvement. You understand what I'm saying? If we take a step back and we look at it, we can see why it took 27 years, bro. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, we have to look at how this brother was moving, that it took this long, and who has he been talking to that you could get on talk shows and you could get on the internet and speak so freely about what happened? You understand what I'm saying? What kind of immunity did you have? What kind of backdoor deal that you made in order to get on and speak so boldly and so freely about your involvement? Almost to the point where you got a rash, man, from fucking dry snitching on your goddamn self.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture before we started narrowing it down to it was just this, that, or the other. That's my take on it.
Right. And I definitely share a lot of the sentiments that my good brother Griff just shared with us, because I see Keefe D as the fall guy. That story that was crafted is giving Kaiser Sose, you know, it's giving, we put this story together with other detectives to basically cover for somebody in the higher ranks. You know what I'm saying? It's really given the way that he went around talking about it. It was part of the quote unquote, it was giving that this is part of the agreement that you are to go around and talk about this. He was doing it so freely that it wasn't like he was looking over his shoulders. Can I say that? Is it okay if I say this? No, it was like he got a script and he began to ran with that script. That's what I'm seeing.
You don't think it was clout chasing?
Huh?
You don't think it was clout chasing? You think it was deeper than clout chasing?
Nah, it went deeper than clout chasing. You know, there's clout chasing, then there's just straight up agendas and whatnot. There are people whose names have been implicated, right? Because this case will open up a lot of it's going to open up a can of worms and whatnot for the people who are really into the investigation, not the blogs, not the surface people, you know, not the people that are going to make this a very much sensationalized story. For the real researchers, the ones who knew about the case, the ones who knew about Reggie White's involvement, the ones who know about the lawyer's involvement, David Warren, you feel me? The ones who know about the fact that Pac had fired them on that quote unquote flight back from New York City after he fell out with Snoop Dogg after the Hot 97 interview, and he sent them both letters of resignation. And these were the ones who were the hitters behind the scene. You got to remember who Reggie White is, the son of a lieutenant, of a high-ranking LAPD person. It always goes back to the Rampart scandal with the people who were depicted in the movie Training Day, Lorenzo and them, who Denzel portrayed, the crooked police from the Rampart. Those were the hitters in both situations. Their names are coming up in Biggie's murders, and their names come up in the Tupac murders. So it's giving Fall Guy. If he starts talking, the dominoes start falling.
And with that said, Pill, we got to understand something. Even if when he goes to trial, and ends up in jail, the question is, will he make it through jail? Will he last 1 year? Because they're gonna wait for everybody to forget, and then he's gonna check out of here.
If he keeps his mouth shut, right?
He found him in his cell unresponsive.
Right.
That's how they work.
Right.
So yeah. So let me ask you this: what with what recently happened? The internet, one name the internet is talking about relentlessly is Puffy. Yeah, I seen Puffy put up a post. He talking about something totally unrelated. The comments was just Tupac gifts, Tupac memes, Tupac this, Tupac that. Right. Tupac's coming to get you, Tupac's back. I'm like, yo, even in the chat right now, everybody's like Diddy, Puffy, Diddy, Puffy. Yo, why do you think what happened recently with this where the whole internet is talking about Puffy?
Because this got Puffy's name written all over. But go ahead, Bill.
Nah, I don't want to go ahead, cook, and I'm gonna finish the play.
This has Puffy's name written all over it. If you follow the timeline on his involvement with Keefe D. Let's just take those two entities.
So they have involvement with each other. Keefe D and
Right.
Puffy. Okay.
Because people are thinking something happened to his nephew. Let me go get my rat. Let me go get some heat, round up my crew, and go take care of that. And they think that's the first time Keefe D is even meeting these other entities. No. They've been involved with one another. It said it in the article that I was reading. It talked about the whole idea of the deal that Keefe D had made the LA Police Department and the detectives in LA. But guess whose name kept coming up? Puffy and Biggie. So Keefe D knew something about Puffy and Biggie that he had to be quiet about. So they gave him immunity in LA. That had nothing to do with Vegas.
Right.
It's a whole different beast in Vegas. So when they gave him immunity and all this time had passed, he thought it was cool, let his guard down and started running his mouth. The people in the prosecuting attorneys and the DA in Vegas said, hold up, man. We gave you, I think this thing is called a proffer. And it says a proffer made to a prosecutor by a person who is a subject of a criminal investigation to provide information in exchange for limited immunity. Limited immunity. I'm going to say that again with a DJ scratch behind me. Limited immunity. Limited immunity. So they gave him limited immunity in LA, but they didn't give him that same limited immunity in Nevada. So the proper thing was off the table. So they took what he said on Vlad and these other things and said, okay, we got him now. Come on in, let's have a conversation. You understand what I'm saying? Then they made a deal. They made a deal with the prosecuting and attorneys and the DA in LA and took their file and their information and just added it on to what they had and then what he was jaw-jacking about. And they raided his home. Inside of his home, they snatched his laptop, and the dude had a memoir, damn near written about his involvement. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You understand what I'm saying? So what Pill said a few minutes ago was absolutely correct. This has Puffy's name written all over it because of their relationship prior to the Tupac thing, death happening, murder happening in Vegas. And I want to talk a little bit later on about the 6 days, I believe, that Tupac was alive. And all the people that visited. We'll talk about that in a minute. Go ahead, Pill.
So Keefe D goes in public and basically, he pulls a play that, implicates Puffy as somebody that would be involved in what is known as a murder for hire, right? So when we talk about murder for hire, this is where somebody like a Puffy will become a prime suspect. When we speak about murder for hire, this is where the bosses, this is where the RICO takes down bosses and whatnot, because if they could prove that you who don't want to get your hands dirty and who have somebody that's on your neck that's threatening your life, who may have put a contract on your head, so you go behind and say, all right, well, I'm going to put $1 million on his head, and then Keefe D and his family member get into an altercation with Tupac Shakur at the fight. Something goes down, and Keefe D, his nephew, and 2 other Crips and whatnot wind up killing that man. They make the phone call to say, you know what? Being that there was a bag on his head anyway, I'm gonna collect that check. I need that bag. Send that over here, right? A rumor has it, allegedly, that might have been sent his way, but it never reached him. Okay. And the brother Vaughn Zip's name comes up a lot in that conversation. And then other people say that they never sent them because they were hot at that point, and Puff wouldn't be a fool to send any type of amount of money to a group of gangbangers and whatnot to raise any type of suspicions. But the conversation is about murder for hire. Okay. That's where it's headed. And if anybody starts talking about that, then there's going to be somebody with no tank top with taco meat and his shirt half button with mad wavy hair named Rico in Miami, dancing to Star Island looking for Sean Combs. So
yeah, I think people need to take some mental notes, and like Steve Coakley used to tell us, we need to start connecting the dots, because they're connecting like a motherfucker in my head. I'm like, oh, okay, hold up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's a conversation about unpaid debt resulting in the murder of Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious B.I.G., with bullets that were basically aimed at somebody who was reneging on agreements and debts going by the name of Sean Puffy Combs, where henceforth the video Missing You, right, where he's basically like, damn, that should have been for me, right? Initially, the initiator of the beef with Suge and people of higher, it really wasn't a biggie thing at first. It was coming from the Scorpio. It was coming from situations that the Scorpio had over a woman, right?
Who's a
Typical
Scorpio?
Scorpio
What
shit.
are you talking
The
about?
Scorpio is Puff.
Yeah.
Right? So he fell out with Suge over Misha and some other shit. And then the shit trickled down between Pac going after Big and whatnot. But it started from the bosses were going at it at first, and then a body dropped. So what I want to explore in this situation that we'll begin to touch on when NWA is brought up is the worst marriage that ever took place in the culture of hip hop. A failed relationship, and this divorce needs to take place, because at this point, not only is it an abusive relationship, but it's a fatal attraction. And that's when gang members infiltrated hip hop. When gang members infiltrated hip hop, that is what this man called Special Ed is talking about, the beginning of the destruction. That never was supposed to take place. Gang bangers and killers and drug dealers were not supposed to be inside of hip hop like that. So when gang bangers and people who were killers like Bloods and Crips, real gang bangers, people who were running drugs and doing all kind of shit, when they were inside of the music business at a high level, like Ruthless and Death Row and all, yes, that's the beginning, because those two don't go together. When we had gangsters in our days, you have to understand those two worlds did not mix. Everybody knew their part. They did not cross into one another. That was the golden rule.
The gangsters was the
Ricky Vaughn
gangsters.
did not make albums.
Right.
Alpo and Rich Porter, with all of the money that they had money for studios, they had prestige, and they had time. They were not trying to rap. They were not trying to make albums. AZ made an album, but he made it clear, I'm not a rapper. The gangster that was on the back of Rakim's album, they was not trying to be rappers. The Matthews and all of the people down south that you hear about in Miami and whatnot, that Rick Ross be talking about, they was not trying to be rappers. The Shower Posse people, they were not doing dub plates and trying to be DJs. Nobody was crossing into each other's lane. The gangsters did not fuck with the music like that. They were not interested in that at all. They were too busy being gangsters. Gangsters don't rap. So people are confusing gangster rap with gangsters, and that's not what gangster rap is. Gangster rap is when gang bangers got into rap, and that's not gangsters, because gangsters are not gangbangers. I'm sorry, y'all don't understand.
Man, you understand?
The people that we grew up with, they are not gangbangers.
You said the gangsters are not gangbangers.
Different. So once again, with the trick of language, they tricked you by saying gangster music or gangster rap, because people is like, what about Schoolie D and what about Cool G Rap? I'm like, yes, those were gangsters, y'all, who happened to know how to rap, but they were not. Those were the exceptions and not the rule. Nobody was you could not copy Cool G Rap and try to emulate him if you was not if you was not living like him. Nobody was trying to walk in his footsteps. He was a dinosaur. He was an anomaly. He was in a class by himself. But those were gangsters, and those were not gangbangers. What Special Ed means is when gangbangers who should be gangbanging got into rap and started gangbanging on wax, that's when this shit went to shits. And it's been going to shits ever since. So if you try to put the two together, it's impossible. That's what we're talking about.
So Eazy-E wasn't no gangster?
Eazy-E was he was the one who broke the mold on the West Coast when gangsters were not supposed to be rapping, and it took them about 3 to 4 months to make him a rapper. Ice Cube and them manufactured Eazy-E to become a rapper. He is the first studio gangster. Yes.
Woo! Yo, Rendo is history. Griff, are you impressed?
They had to fit a
Griff,
square into a circle because he was his. It's almost like putting two magnets together. The forces that be was like, no, we cannot make this marriage happen. Every single angel was descending to stop it from happening. They were turning out the electricity in the studio. They were making it flood. They were doing everything in their powers possible to not let Eazy-E rap. And one day he made a goddamn breakthrough and finished that song, and the rest is history. You are not supposed to put the two together. It's like mixing fentanyl in that goddamn weed that y'all be smoking. A deadly combination. So that's what we're suffering from. We supposed to separate the shit that is a poison in our culture, and that is gang banging. Gang banging is a fucking poison. Bottom line, and it's not serving its purpose. It's not doing what it came to do. Remember, New York had gangs in the 70s, but it wasn't the shit that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the commercialized, controlled, CIA-operated gang shit. They killed every single rapper that I love. They killed Tupac. The Crips killed Tupac. The Crips killed Biggie. The Crips killed Nipsey. The Crips killed who else? Okay? Who else are they killing? They killed the Bloods killed my guy, what's my dude? Drakeo. And these gangbangers have a unique relationship with the alphabet boys all the time. Why is that? Why is there always a situation where they have these backdoor deals with the highest ranks of law enforcement? Right. Do you ever ask yourself, why is that? These people have lifelines that they're able to still be in communities, terrorizing them and doing the works for who? Who do you think?
Right.
So there's always a relationship, especially between these two gangs in LA and the CIA and the Alphabet Boys and people who are considered to be informants and all kind of stuff. I don't trust it. That's a poison. We need to address that.
Right. Very much so. Yeah, definitely. And I think you hit it right on the head, because I think we forget about, like I said earlier, in the outstart, taking 2 or 3 steps back to look at it, and we forget about the hip-hop cops. We forget about that whole thing. There were not only hip-hop cops in New York doing surveillance on New York and East Coast rappers. You understand what I'm saying? FBI was chasing NWA down, like you just said.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And you mean to tell me they wasn't sharing, swapping notes?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it's
FBI is right.
Yeah.
Look, the FBI is they're at Biggie's murder. They coincidentally was following him and trailing him when he gets killed in LA. Right. But they're the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But the whole investigation about what happened that night, they never really produced that. Right. They just so happened also to be trailing and following Tupac Amaru Shakur based off of the activities of the Bloods and whatnot, where they were being watched forever, right? And they don't have any answers, and they didn't have any surveillance and whatnot. So if that happens to keep happening, can we just start saying and speculating that COINTELPRO, the same program that was initiated by the same organization, the same office, and the same people in the same department, and they were basically crossing the lines and utilizing deadly force to take out messianic figures in the 70s, what would make us think that they're not doing it in the 80s? And what would definitely make us think that in the 90s, which was the decade that we were resonating the highest in the 90s.
Right.
That's not a secret. Anybody with a goddamn anybody with a meter, with an ionic meter, could have read the damn ionosphere. We was vibrating at the highest frequency. So like you said, Griff, what were the hip hop police initiated to surveil these rappers, or were they initiated to do more than just surveil these rappers? Were they initiated were they infiltrating these rap circles and whatnot to begin to plant weapons on people, plant drugs,
right?
Instigate beefs and whatnot, start rumors and do all of that wicked shit that they did at COINTELPRO,
Right.
because the way that the murders start picking up and whatnot, I smell involvement from a other source.
Right.
But anytime you get your dysfunction funded to the tune of billions of dollars, what do you expect?
Yeah, because you got to look at a lot of people have made money off of Tupac's death.
Whole lot.
Big money, the biggest money ever.
Right. Right, exactly. Everyone from record label, insurance companies, just people picking like vultures, picking at his body to make films, documentary films, and whatever. You understand what I'm saying?
He's right. That's how you could tell he is the fallen king. You know what I'm talking about? He's a messianic figure. He's a fallen star. He has so much power and energy and light that they're able to feast on him like a supernova that's dimming out. Right. So these people that are connected to him by way of these contracts and all of these other ways that they have their tentacles in his energy and in his legacy, because like he said, is he not thug immortal because we're talking about him today?
Right. Because we have to, and we also have to understand, Brother Rich, they're not thinking in terms of what can we do next month. Listen, it's 27 years later. Their agenda on the left hand is running smooth. They got so many distractions out with these ratchet ass female rappers that we're not looking at what the right hand is doing. And then this comes up 27 years later to distract us yet again. And what are they distracting us from? Somebody might say AI. That's not a conversation right now. But I'm just saying, for them to turn around now and say, okay, well, we finally made the connection between the death of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. And then who's going to go live on an island and do fucking yoga? Puffy. Just like they made some connections with Epstein and a few other people, and your man Hustle Simmons got up on out of here. You understand what I'm saying? This happens over and over and over again. And they wait for the masses of the people to forget, or they distract us. Now the distractions have to come a lot more stronger. We have to have distraction here, new weed out, new way to promote and do music, AI, some other stuff, fake rapper here, manufacture some beef here, and that kind of thing. And we're totally scatterbrained and we're totally distracted. And then we'll look up and we'll look back at this conversation we're having right now, and be like, well, damn, y'all was right, because now this chick is talking about red lipstick in her goddamn brown booty hole. What the fuck does that got to do with anything? Do you understand what I'm saying? And all of a sudden now, y'all found the murderer of Tupac. Y'all already knew this. Like Red Pill just said, it's part of the script. And if you watch this dude's body language, Keefe D, his body language and the intonation of his voice, it's like, wait a minute, dude, you knew this all along.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and he tried to throw a couple of things in there like he was trying to keep it a buck for the hood, but come on, bruh. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, being on the inside out and the outside in, you get two different perspectives. And I remember when I used to just watch things in the conscious community and watch VHS tapes. And then once I started filming, that's a whole different perspective, because I'm on the inside, now I'm looking out. And I get to observe people come up with their conclusions about, oh, this guy's a government agent. Sarnetta's a government agent. Red Pill Rich, oh, they government. And I'm like, damn, yo. And sometimes in my mind, I'm like, wow. So this is how it feels to be on the inside out and observing people just having things completely wrong. Mark, with me saying that, I'm asking you, in terms of somebody like Vlad, or somebody like, let's say, a Sexy Red, or somebody who we may think there's this huge plot to ruin Black people, do you think that sometimes we may have it wrong, or we may be paranoid, and these are just individuals that are not doing all of these government type activities that we think they may be doing? I hope I said that right.
Real
No,
quick.
no. You said it right. Who was
Yeah.
the one with John Oswald? Oswald
Right.
didn't know half the shit that he was involved in,
Okay.
but he was the fall guy, like Red Pill said. Keefe D was probably the fall guy.
Mhm.
Sexy Red don't know her ass from her elbow.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? She's probably a patsy and all of this. You know, she's being used as a tool. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times these people don't know. Listen,
Griff, man, come on.
right now, the damage that the Vlad interview did to this dude,
Yeah.
that landed him, is gonna land him in prison. Do you think Vlad is sitting back like, well, I'm not working for the government, but shit, I guess what I put together the questions and he did admit it on my show. So how do I feel about that? Come on, man.
Okay.
You understand? So he don't have to sign the contract with the people, with the alphabet boys.
Yeah.
You're involved in it. Why are you involved in it? Because they seen the hand and the moves that you were making, and they manipulated you without you even knowing.
Whew.
Right.
Shit.
The rap game or hip hop
It's fire.
is so infiltrated at this point with government and governmental officials that we are in a fishbowl. We're all in the yard together. We all in population.
Yes.
So any podcast that anybody does on Google, on Liar Cohen's YouTube, everybody is watching it and listening and picking every single piece of word that you say like it's fact.
Mm.
So everybody is telling their truth and their story or their version of it. What I wanted to bring up is how soon we forget when Rich brought up the fact of this society and our people out there really trying to knock people and doing all everything.
Right.
But just a month ago or two, we were all up in arms when we saw Who Cloned Tyrone. And we saw that movie, Who Cloned Tyrone, and what Who Cloned Tyrone showed us everything that Special Ed was able to talk about on the Drink Champs interview when he implicated the beginning of the destruction. If you remember Who Cloned Tyrone, Tyrone actually was a nigga who lived in South Central, who was looking like somebody who got programmed by NWA. You understand? Because that's where the cloning shit started. That's where that program started. That's where that program that turned Glenn into that motherfucking city that it was, of people who looked like niggas from LA, who was doing shit like niggas from those NWA and niggas from LA that they listened to on their radio and whatnot, sponsored by Universal and Sony and all of these multi-billion-dollar corporations who are fashioning your reality based off of your sound frequencies because they know the power of the music and those $1 million videos that they were funding and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like Menace to Society, South Central, Colors, Boys in the Hood, Juice, you know what I mean? Blow, Fresh, you know, y'all can name some of them, you know.
The whole beef
Brooklyn,
series,
Crooklyn, Strapped.
Right.
We got a whole bunch of shit to program us, but they've been cloning us, Tyrone. They've been giving us the poison food. They've been giving us poison through the music. They've been giving us poison through the images of who both we are. They've been poisoning us with the falsehoods that they've been feeding us in school, with the lies that they've been telling us, inoculating us with these poisons and things of that nature. Damn near everything that's being done to us is being done against us. So all I'm saying is, and I've seen the cloning process of when they basically put $1 million behind a certain sound or a certain archetype or a certain frequency, like Sexy Red, like NWA when Ice Cube left, because I have to always put on record. I'm talking about the NWA when Ice Cube left. Professor Griff knows what I mean. I'm talking about the reason why NWA was such a catalyst to say that that's where the destruction started is because they went from a street knowledge rap group from the West Coast who were more leaning towards what Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton was talking about with the bastards of the party. They were more so leaning towards a West Coast Public Enemy, But then when Ice Cube left and he made No Vaseline and he publicly put it out there that they were under the control of the small hats and interests that were outside of our quote unquote community's interests, and he raised the red flag, nobody paid attention. And then they got funded to the tune of millions upon millions of dollars by secret investors, the same investors that were at that meeting that Crazy Bone was talking about when they said in 91 that they were going to declare war on conscious hip hop. They were going to declare war on the upward mobility of our people, that we were using the culture to pick ourselves up. And they had a problem with that. And they made a meeting to sit down to say, we're going to invest in the prisons and we're going to turn this shit up. We're going to 10x this Bitcoin. And that's what they did. Whew. That's what they did. They ran up the stocks on these niggas, and we sat back and we're just figuring out what happened to our people. But them people is culprits, and they have to be called out for what they did.
Right, because their relatives and the co-conspirators in that are the lawyers who make these 85-page contracts. And on page 79, last paragraph is your insurance policy.
Yes.
So you're worth more to them dead.
Dead. Right. They call it key person insurance, I believe it is.
Yes.
You know, they take out an insurance policy, and if you are the breadwinner for the company and you get clipped, they get paid, right, every single day based off of how much you were being paid to get booked to rap. That's how Biggie Smalls' mother, go and look up the lawsuit that she had against LA. She was about to bankrupt LA. Do you know about that lawsuit, Professor Griff?
No, not at all.
With Valletta Smalls, where she proved in a civil lawsuit that the LAPD was responsible for Biggie's death. Come on, this is part of the research.
Yeah.
Right. So this was around 2017. This was actually the case that started getting a lot of people clipped. So the reason why she was able to get $500 million in a civil lawsuit is because when she sued, she was able to get compensated for every single day that Biggie would have been alive, and he would have been able to perform based off of the asking rate of him as an artist the day that he got clipped. Right. I believe the shit was about 500 bands.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You feel me? So that's the type of things that they bank on when they sign you to your labels.
Indeed. So I want to bring up something, an interesting comment. Very, very interesting conversation tonight. Shout out to everybody in chat. We got almost 3,000 people in here. Very important topic about our culture, hip hop, and exactly what happened to it, and what's going on right now. Griff, I mean, these two gentlemen right here, they do their homework when it comes to hip hop. They definitely do their homework. Griff, a legend in hip hop. The greatest group of all time, in my opinion. I tell you, Tupac is my favorite artist. The greatest group all time. Public Enemy. With that, them and then Wu-Tang. Public Enemy. Wu-Tang is right after Public. It's like right there. But listen, y'all talked about Sexy Red. Y'all keep bringing up Sexy Red to the point where people are like, why do they keep bringing up Sexy Red? I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. I don't want y'all to get offended. You're bringing up Sexy Red. So let's talk about somebody who's similar to Sexy Red. Let's talk about what's her name? Sukihana? What's her name, Red?
Oh, yeah, Sukihana.
Sukihana. So something Sukihana said reminded me of something Cardi B said. And they were both honest assessments of what they see going on. And it's just statements that I feel that came from their heart that I want to ask you two gentlemen about. One of the things that they said, Sukihana said, listen, I'm a dope porn star. One thing Cardi B said is, I'm a stripper. Right. Why don't y'all promote the conscious artists? I believe Cardi B said that exact word, conscious artists. And they were talking about how brothers like you, and I'm not saying y'all specifically, but what I'm saying is the aware brothers and sisters, the conscious, the woke, or the educated, or whatever you want to, the liberal, whatever you want to call them. Why do y'all promote the bad more than y'all promote the good by talking about it? Why do y'all focus on the bad more than y'all focus on the good? Why do y'all give attention to the bad artists more than y'all give attention to the good artists? A lot of people were talking about Sukihana. A lot of people weren't talking about Kambada. A lot of people weren't talking about Cyrock. A lot of people weren't talking about a lot of the great artists out there. But once Sexy Red out get on there, all the conscious, woke, educated people are sharing her video and saying this is disgusting. Why does the educated, the woke, the liberated, the conscious spread messages of those they don't like more than messages of those who they claim they do like?
I think that's a very, very layered question. It's a very intricate one. Now, you said you want to play devil's advocate, so let me and Red Pill play God's advocate.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Who's the y'all that y'all talking about? Because last time I heard from Sonetta and a few other people, there's no such thing as the conscious community. You may have conscious individuals.
I didn't say I just said the woke, the liberated, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm throwing you a lifeline. I'm just saying, well, who are the y'all?
The woke, the liberated, the educated, the college educated, the college degrees, the sororities, the fraternities, everybody who condemns the ratchetry, the ratchetness, not just the conscious community. Right. I don't want us to hide behind the conscious community because that's an easy place to hide behind.
Right. Let's not do that. So then let's not forget the many mind control experiments that took place on Black people. Mm-hmm. We can't negate these things. You can't act like that we're here in 2023 and we're being bombarded with positive music on this side and some negative ratchet stuff on this side, and we have the ability to differentiate and promote what we like to promote. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's not act like they don't take URLs and shift them somewhere else. Let's not act like they don't shadow ban. Mm-hmm. Let's not act like they're not in control of the very same mechanism that you want us to promote. They're in control of it. Mm-hmm. I saw a meme. I think I screenshotted it, but I think I can remember it. The sister put up a meme and she said, how dare these niggas be gangbanging over a block that they don't even own? These are the housing projects owned by somebody else, but you're ready to die for it. Mm-hmm. And you don't own not 1 square inch of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What do we actually own in this thing called hip-hop music, all right, that we can honestly say this is the platform that we're going to promote conscious, positive artists? Soleil, Ciroc, Wise Intelligent, whomever come out, Cambada or whomever. You understand what I'm saying? Where's that infrastructure at? Where's that mechanism at? You understand what I'm saying? There is a machine already in place that right now, all they have to do is drop the next ratchet artist on the conveyor belt and they get instant promotion because they're fitting the mold. We're not talking about Sexy Red. We're talking about the mindset. We're talking about the lyrics, the spirit of it all. You could take her out and substitute her with Sukiana, take her out and substitute her with Little Skid Mark. We could take that out and just substitute it with anybody. It's the same theme over and over and over again. So the mindset is what we're dealing with, Brother Rich. And it's already already a methodology. There's already a process and a machine in place.
Yeah, I want y'all to I'm sorry, Griff. I don't think y'all understand my question. Somebody in the chat reiterated. Rich is asking why we talk about the ratchet artists after the machine puts them out. We all understand the machine puts them out. What I'm asking, I need you to understand, after the machine puts them out, we talk about them. And I'm not saying you and Red. We as a collective, the educated, talks about them more than the Soleils, the Cyrocs, the Cambadas. We talk about it. We share it. Even criticism is talking about them, is giving them light. I'm not talking about the machine. I'm talking about us. Thank you, Love Moves, for reiterating my question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I understood the question, but I was just bringing light to the machine that's already in place to promote them. Is there that same thing in place to promote someone that's conscious? Is what I'm saying to you. Mm-hmm. Because the Essence Festival that took place with Janelle Monáe.
Oh man, Essence Festival, yeah.
Showed her breasts and chicks was twerking and all other kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. The Essence Festival had 3 or 4 nights of artists, and you're absolutely correct. That other stuff got the news because India Irie talked about it.
Right.
The other artists that were positive and good performances,
Didn't
that
get
stuff
no.
was never even mentioned.
Right.
You just never even, it's like it never even
Never
happened.
happened. It never even happened. That's what I'm talking about.
Right, exactly. So I feel you.
Yeah, yeah.
I try to add some grown man stuff to it, but yeah.
There's a relationship between protagonists and antagonists. There's a relationship between, you know, critiquing something from a place of being objective towards it. Conscious people, or what you call woke people, or people who critique these things, are actually needed to, and vice versa. These things are needed for conscious people to measure their consciousness from. So yeah, they're judging it from a place of where they see themselves and they're like, yeah, this shit is low frequency. And it just so happens that these names are mentioned because they're attached to that low frequency. Ever since I've been into this consciousness, there's been a teacher who's always been identifying who the fuck is bringing the low frequency, who's the Pied Piper that's leading our people down the motherfucking hill. They're identifying who are these people that have our children under a spell, and the youth under a spell, in the most precious part of our civilization and our nation, which is the youth. And that also always happens to be these quote unquote ratchet artists. Because when I was coming up, they was talking about how Nicki Minaj was going from just being an MC that had bars, where she was rapping and whatnot. She was keeping up with the fellas. And then she started talking about her coochie was pink and her booty hole is brown. Her version of it, right? So fast forward to where we are 2023, right? We moving such in a quantum quickening and whatnot. It feels like I'm in 24, me personally. But it's gotten so we've going so down the escalator in the Kali Yuga and whatnot, that the way to shock people and capture their attention and to keep it raw dog is to say what Sexy Red said at this juncture in time and whatnot. But there was a time when Foxy was saying some shit that she's saying the equivalent to today. And then there was a time when Nicki was saying something that was brash that she's saying the equivalent to today. Then there was a time where Cardi was saying it. So they basically keep lifting more veils. And they keep basically breaking through more walls and whatnot, to the point where the next artist is basically going to be giving neck and rapping at the same time.
Yeah.
The neck is going to be a mic or something attached to it, and they're going to go full porn star. Because what we have right now, you got to understand where we are in terms of just overall the restructuring of entertainment in this everywhere, everything, all at once quantum reality, where your phone is bringing you to any world that you could type up and whatnot. The age of voyeurism is the fact that my public face, the face that I'm showing everybody and whatnot. If I show you me on OnlyFans and I'm basically I'm in the sex of fornicating, or I'm in the sex of masturbation, or I'm in the act of any type of sexual proclivity that people hide behind their private, quote unquote, their private lives, right? They have a private life and they have a secret life, right? If you know anybody that's in the sex worker industry, if you know anybody that's any of those, they could tell you about all of this stuff. So these artists are now bringing people into this world. That's why pussy pop and rap is so big. That's why OnlyFans is so big. That's why anything where people could bring you into the world where they're taking back their public face and showing you what they do in their private life. Because it's not all about just, you know, raw, hardcore type of stuff. People are foot models. You know, there's people that are actually acting like, you know, role playing, cosplaying and whatnot. You have the NPC, yes, with Pinky Doll and whatnot on TikTok, where they're basically acting like non-playable characters. That's voyeurism. That's the same thing like being on OnlyFans. So I study the psychology of the culture and why people do what they do and why things are going what they're going. But in the terms of the occult, this is the Kali Yuga. And she's Kali right now. She represents a Sekhmet Kali energy. She does, Sukiyana does, Scarlett does, Glorilla does. It's a few of them that are living embodiments of the day and the age to show us further proof that when we look back on this day and age, we'll be using them as archetypes, right? And symbols to be like, that was a telltale sign that we were in that age.
Can I say one thing real quick, Brother Rich?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Red Pill made a very beautiful point about 20 minutes ago in reference to gangsters and hardcore real gangbangers is not supposed to be in hip hop because that wasn't their lane.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask the question then: are strippers and porn stars supposed to be?
Good question, Griff. Good question. Good question, Griff. Good
If you
question.
a hoe, be a hoe. If you a porn star, do porno
That's
flicks.
that's
Stay on
yeah, that's
porno,
a separate
whatever.
lane.
If you-
It does. I don't think it has nothing to do with rap, bro. That I don't right. Like we have to examine that.
All right.
No, but you don't want to box nobody in at the same
I don't want to
time,
box
you know what I'm
nobody in.
saying? Like they may tell me, Rich, you a journalist, don't be a music producer. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it gets a little tricky, y'all. I don't know.
So, but now, what's the next AI microphone and camera going to do, brother Rich? Go up their uterus and show us that? I mean, how far is it going to go? How low can you go?
Yeah.
I think that was in a Public Enemy song. Bass, how low can you go?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. And us saying what we're saying does not mean that it stops it from actually taking
Right.
place, and it will manifest. And that's just a reality. I'm saying no. If I had the opportunity to say no and not that and not let it manifest, I'm just going on record to be like, nah, we could try something else. We could put the culture on trial and prove that it failed and that it did not work when other things were included into it of a lower frequency,
Right.
because the acronym is what? Higher.
Infinite power.
Infinite power. Healing our people. And sex heals, your red chakra energy, being able to vibrate on that frequency. Yeah, that's a healing frequency. You get to scratch that itch and whatnot. But the idea of hip hop was it was bringing us to the higher frequencies. Goals is crown.
Right.
And I don't think that we'll get into that, especially if we don't control the sexual quote unquote industry. We don't control it. So I'm not apt to see no type of porn star controlled by some Germans and some goddamn Ukrainians and whatnot who have our women on a leash.
Well,
and they haven't shown any type of care, any type of adoration. I'm willing to see a higher form of like some sensual belly dancing, type of adult entertainment if it's kept at the highest frequency. I just don't want bottom gutter crash, septic tank gutter shit, bro. I don't eat out the garbage. I'm not a dumpster diver.
Red and Griff. So, and you just recently called it. I think the term you just used, Red, was pussy popping rap. With it's extremely successful. It's running a rap game right now. These female artists that's out here, Lotto. And I don't want to throw her in there, but she do what she do. Sexy Red and some of the rest of them. I don't want to say Glorilla is exclusively pussy popping, but some people may consider her music whatever, that way. But would that form of hip hop music be popular if the effeminization of the black male never happened? Is there a direct correlation with pussy popping music becoming popular and the effeminization, the rise of the feminization of black men? The only reason I say that is because the black men will listen to the pussy popping music now. Back then, that wasn't only women would listen to Lil Kim. We wasn't listening and reciting lyrics. I don't want to say some of the lyrics she said, but now the brothers is reciting lyrics that is pause worthy. Were you like, pause, brothers? Did you just say that? And they just like, yeah, they rapping along to the pussy popping lyrics. So do you think there's a correlation between the feminization of the black man and the rise of pussy popping rap music?
You're forgetting one part of that question.
Yes,
like,
sir.
real quick, Red.
Yes, sir.
What about the real man that was in hip hop?
Right.
This is the reason why we're doing this show, because we talk about Tupac, who is bringing a certain energy. Yeah. They murdered the man.
Right.
We can talk about Biggie, DMX. I could go on and on. Dudes that sounded like real fucking men.
Yes,
right.
Yes, sir.
So
they killed that energy. I'm sorry.
The proof is in the pudding. So this is where Tupac's case against Biggie begins to hold validity. Who was writing Little Kim's lyrics?
Big.
Okay. So who started, right? Think about, we got to look at the psychology of
and a man wrote Red. I'm sorry. And a man wrote City Girls lyrics. Men write
Okay.
Spice Girls lyrics.
Right.
Men.
And people were writing the LA, the JJ Fadden them lyrics and whatnot on the West Coast when they were pussy popping. So men are the pins behind this quote unquote the CB4 of women. So they began to quote unquote break them down, strategically, right? Throughout those days prior to the Little Kim wave, women in New York, their pins were about goddess and queen frequency, right? You have MC Light, you have Queen Latifah. You even had Salt and Pepper, and they represented the central aspect. They represented Little Kim. Salt and Pepper is Little Kim and Foxy before Little Kim and Foxy. Let us not forget about that. So before you get into Little Kim and Foxy, you got to examine the Scorpio. That's Pepper. She was the one who activated the Kundalini in the hip hop shit. She was the one that got niggas to hop, bro. Salt and Pepper. They were working off of some very, very powerful energy. They was the one, and they was the ones that was like the choosing between the bad boys, or they were choosing between if they were gonna stick with the conscious niggas, and then she went ahead and fucked with Tretch and whatnot. Shit like that changes the trajectory on how the whole culture be shifting. So going back to this whole New York thing, New York, we gave our women a lot of credit. We was not calling them bitch. We were not pimping them. We were not giving them that type of energy and whatnot. We were letting them rock. They were rapping alongside hard body, hardcore rappers. MC Light was rapping alongside of Kane, Juice Crew, and all of them and whatnot. But they was talking about self-destruction. They was talking about partying, yeah. They was talking about getting money and being fly, yeah. They was talking about enjoying life, yeah. But they was also talking about what? Consciousness, keeping some type of balance, speaking to the social ills of society. The women were giving their light and their voice and their quote unquote condolences, and they were giving their quote unquote, compassion to our plight. Outside of the fact that we was all poor and we was going through. Remember, New York in 1990 was the murder capital. But when you look at the billboards and when you look at who was selling records, nobody was making money being millionaires and getting rich off of rapping about that, bro. Going back to what I was saying before, the gangsters did not rap. They was busy killing shit, man. And they were selling crack, but they were not in the music industry. They were not signed to a label. They were not being paid by small hats to tell you how they were doing it.
Right.
That's not what they were doing. So everybody knew their fucking lane, and that lane got switched when we turned around and we said, "Oh shit!" On the West Coast at Interscope Records, by the helms of Jerry Heller, these niggas is signing multi-million-dollar checks for people to say we hate each other. Die, nigga, die. Because the second album, like Black Dot, shout out to Urban X TV, that he's my master teacher, okay? And I learned this from reading his book, Hip Hop Decoded. But Black Dot had to reiterate, we're not talking about their first album. We're talking about their second album. The reason why everybody know that they sold out so hard is because if you compare the first album to the second album, it goes from a 10 to a 4. That's where you could tell that there was a humongous ism. And the ism was Ice Cube took his pen and it got co-opted by Jerry Heller and all of that money that was coming from them Europeans and whatnot. And they sold our people out. They compromised them right at that juncture right there. And the shit has never been the same. And they've been bankrolling. They've been triple investing in private prisons, investing in the real estate with the redlining, because they know when you're gonna go in certain hoods and collapse the real estate value, they're gonna come in and swoop that shit up, raise the prices up. It is a racket on top of rackets on top of rackets. The children been disappearing. They out here organ harvesting. They out here slavery, sex trafficking, pussy popping music is making the sex trafficking numbers going up. Pussy popping music is making the organ harvesting numbers going up. Pussy popping music is making these babies disappear quicker and whatnot because their guards are down and whatnot. So if you pussy popping and you on fentanyl and you on Xannies and whatnot and you on opiates and you leaning and you half asleep and whatnot and your pants is hanging off your ass and whatnot and you got you mumbling and whatnot, you not on point and you about to get snatched up. And you gonna call that shit an alien abduction and whatnot. but they driving around and they paying the gang bangers, the same people that you niggas is pledging allegiance to, trying to live vicariously through, trying to be like. They paying gang bangers instead of to sell drugs. They're now paying them to kidnap little children and to pimp babies. Because that's the new hustle.
Right.
They doing it like Uber Eats. They call it Uber Skeets.
But check this out. So hip hop has made billions of dollars. Would y'all agree?
Yes, sir.
Billions.
Now let's count up. Let's count up. Huh?
I would say trillions, Griff. If they got a billionaire in hip hop, that means it crossed the $1 trillion line. If Facebook and them could be $1 trillion brand, hip hop made $1 trillion at 50.
Right. So let's say hip hop made trillions of dollars. So let's count the billionaires that are in hip hop. And the real billionaires never killed anybody on wax. Never killed anybody in a song. You understand what I'm saying?
They don't even want you to know their names.
Exactly.
Lucian Grange.
Yep.
Right? The father of Elliot Grange, who's the label owner of Ice Spice's label 10K Oaks, who's also Tekashi and Trippie Redd's label. One of the most powerful labels that you don't know about.
Right, exactly. Like Vivendi. When I talked about it before in my book, Vivendi. Nobody knew about who these people were. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like we start doing the research and we start backpedaling and start connecting the dots like Red just did. It's like we can figure out who these people are. They are the billionaires. We get breadcrumbs to kill our own people on wax. Now, digital murder, digital assassination, digital self-destruction.
Right. So I would say this too, both to Rich and to Griff. If anybody would kindly, argue that hip hop has been beneficial, or gangbanger is beneficial to the culture of hip hop, let's just go and take a tour around Compton and all of the places where the gangs basically originate from, right? Because it's about the foundation. Let's also go to the home of hip hop, right? Where they was on Sedgwick Avenue. So if this culture generated $1 trillion, where's the regentrification in those areas by way of the culture?
Exactly.
Why couldn't just the taxes of the culture build up the neighborhoods that you rappers come from, that y'all niggas been dying for, the blocks y'all died for and whatnot, that mad blood been spilled on and whatnot? Why they tearing down your hoods and putting White Castles in your hood? You know what I'm saying? And pricing out your peoples and whatnot. Why are people coming home from doing bids and whatnot? You can't even go back in your hood because it no longer exists. It's a golf course. You know what I mean? So why, if it's $1 trillion business, we got the same results than them people over there in Africa who live around diamond mines, gold mines, and copper mines and don't even got electricity and water and whatnot. You niggas got the nerve to turn your noses up to them, but y'all live in fucking killing fields and jungles and whatnot and urban zoos and whatnot, and nothing changed, but a lot of fucking albums got sold and a lot of niggas went on tour and a lot of sneakers got sold in your names and whatnot, and you didn't even get a community center. You didn't even get a refurbished library. Right. You didn't even get a car share service. You didn't get no equity in anything, bro. And it's 50 years and they had the nerve to come and give niggas plaques and whatnot and sneakers and shit like that and fucking towels. Look, I'm collecting souvenirs for my nigga. This for my hip hop museum when they come and get puffy. You know what I mean? They giving out headbands and towels and fucking pins and whatnot, but they rape the culture, bro.
Yeah, because you can look at the 50 years since we're celebrating it. What do we own that we can touch, that we can say is truly ours? Like
did they give Kool Herc $1 million on that stage? Because if you did the math on how many people bought a ticket to come there, they literally could have just been like, here, big homie, here's about $1 million just because.
Right.
Then if they got elders coming on the stage at Yankee Stadium for the hip hop 50th, and all of them don't got Columbia pearly white Dr. Mario teeth and whatnot, then they not doing right. They not doing our people right. They still robbing the people.
Right.
Wow. Our people supposed to be looking pristine. Everybody involved in the 50 years of hip hop supposed to look like they live on Sugar Hill. At this point.
Right.
Everybody's supposed to look good like Busta Rhymes right now. Buster not supposed to be the only one coming out looking like this nigga from the 18th dynasty.
Wow.
Everybody's supposed to look like that.
Uh-huh.
Because where's your stocks?
Right.
Where are your shares? Do you know if hip hop was incorporated, we will all be rich? Ye are rich. We would be super wealthy. If hip hop was treated like they treat Apple and they treat Google and Microsoft, we would be well off because we put too much blood, sweat, and tears into something that we don't even know where the fuck this shit exists at.
Right. And then next year is going to be in the Olympics. So keep your eye on that, Brother Rich.
Hip
hop in the Olympics. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Somebody said, where is the
Wow.
hip hop union? Niggas is not even unionized, bro. They don't even have a union. So when somebody dies, they doing fish fries and GoFundMe's, but they pioneers in this $1 trillion culture. I'm not a part of that. I can't be a part of that. I'm not. That's pure fuckery. That's a pimpery system. We 50 years into hip hop, and the rappers who got jerked still not telling the new rappers how not to get jerked. Come on, man. Y'all need to stop playing with us.
Do you take it to consideration, Red and Griff? You know, being a part. We all said there's no such thing at this point as a conscious community, but we all know we all are in a certain on a field where we do similar things, and we all know. One thing I notice is how hard it is to collaborate with each other. And one of the things I do, I'm known for doing out of everybody, is I get speakers to come on the channel together at the same time that people like, yo, wow, Rich got such and such together, such together. And what they don't know is behind the scenes, sometimes it's hard to get this person and that person to come on a channel at the same time. Things aren't as easy as it looks. If it was, everybody would do what Brother Rich does, but everybody can't do what Brother Rich does. I have done things called the Gathering of Masters, where it was hard to get certain people to come on stage with certain people. So with that being said, should we be more sympathetic to the hip hop heads and know that it ain't that easy collaborating on building something together? Because just like in the field we in and the culture we in, for some reason, niggas is always beefing with each other. Do you think we should take that in consideration when we talk about these artists getting together and building something together based on what I just said, Griffin Red?
Yeah, of course, especially a union, putting together a hip hop union to protect people and giving people health care and that kind of thing. That's major when you can't even get two cats on a record.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I understand what you. This is why anytime I get a text message or a call from you, I'm in the now. I hit you right back. Yo, what's good? All right. Yeah. Who else you having on there? I'm good. You understand? Or I'll be very honest with you. Like, nah, I'm not really feeling so and so. I got my reasons, but yada yada yada. And that's just being real. I want to be able to come on here and lend whatever I can lend to the conversation, because Tupac meant something to me. Bringing it back around to Tupac. Tupac meant something to me. The brother was only in his 20s. You understand what I'm saying? If you look forward to what he would have meant to us, even in bringing him on this show, with having a conversation with Biggie. Can you imagine that? So Tupac meant something to me. This is why when I get the phone call about certain subjects, I'm all in. I told you earlier, I'll switch my schedule around. Yeah, we're going to talk whoever else you bring on. I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I think way beyond Griff. And this is about revering and keeping the name of a brother who at least sacrificed aspects of his life for us when he put the pen to the pad.
Oh, yeah.
When you listen to him, he was speaking way beyond himself, man. And I think that needs to be our new approach when we go back and listen to Tupac songs. He already knew he was going to check out of here. He told us.
Yeah.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you listen to his music now, he was speaking way beyond himself. He knew that we would be talking about him today.
That's right.
Griff, you ever met Tupac? I don't know if I asked you that before.
Yeah, man. It was that was a sad night, man. It's like anybody I've ever hung out with, including people in the conscious community.
Yeah.
No, I don't smoke and I don't drink. So if I'm hanging out with you and you about to light it up and you about to do whatever, I'll be like, look, I'm out. So I've had some experiences with him that I don't talk about because they were not good experiences.
What, he was smoking or something?
Smoking, drinking, and catcalling chicks. I don't do that. I've never done that.
Right.
Like, you know, yo, ma, grabbing, pulling on chicks, and yo, like, that's just not something I do. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm on the side of protecting women. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I found myself like, yo, bro, like, tone that down, bro. Don't.
He was in his early 20s at the time, Griff.
Right. So, I think he was looking at me like, dang, you a square, dude. Get the fuck away from around me, bro. I'm like, yo, later, bro. I'll see you, man. And that's the time he caught that charge.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah, that's the time he caught that charge. And I was just like, you know something? Yeah, I can't do it. Because I ain't never smoked in my life, man.
No?
I ain't never took a drink in my life.
You never took a drink in your life, Griff?
Pardon me?
You never took a drink in your life?
Never, ever.
Wow. Or smoked?
Never smoked anything.
Wow.
Nah.
I was just about to light this rose up right here. Now you got me feeling bad. God damn.
Damn, Griff.
You said never ever.
Well, you gotta figure
Andre shit. Let me
14.
respectfully, let me put this down for your respect to your lungs.
Well, you gotta figure since 14, I was in the martial arts.
Okay.
And then right after that, I was in FOI.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then Public Enemy, and then you understand what I'm saying? So I was always in a situation where I'm helping people come out of these things and trying to master their self. Like,
can I share something or how far gone we are as a culture? Because what Professor Griff is speaking of.
After this, we're gonna wrap it up, Red. Go ahead. After this, we're gonna wrap it up.
Right. It's a level of discipline that he's displaying that hip hop was able to give our people, where there were people that didn't smoke and there was people that didn't drink. And people nowadays would be like flabbergasted, like, nah, that's impossible. But that's what levels of hip hop that was dealing with mental leverage. It was feeding your mind, it was feeding your soul, and it was allowing you to dance and shake your ass and things of that nature. But you were just having fun with the music. You didn't need to take an opiate.
Yeah, 50 Cent don't drink or smoke, right?
Nah, he don't. Yeah. He don't do none of that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but I ain't selling either. So anyway,
you had to point that out, huh, Griff? You had to point that out.
No, because I saw him on the side of a bus today. I'm looking at the bus, almost had an accident. I'm like, yeah, we still doing. But anyway, yeah. Anyway.
Indeed. Hey, so listen, man. I want to listen. I mean, what an explosive, passionate show tonight. I want to thank Red Pill and Professor Griff for coming on. Before we get out of here, let the people know. I know Red Pill got something coming up. I'm about to share the link in the chat. But Griff and Red, let the people know whatever y'all got coming up and how they could get in contact with y'all.
Okay, real quick. I'm doing book 2. Let me snatch book 1 real quick. I'm doing book 2 of my children's book.
Oh, excellent. I got
my children's book. You Are the Song That You Sing.
Yeah.
I finished book 2, and just trying to do my part in putting a tool in a young mother's or young dad's hands so they can kind of rear their children in the way that we're supposed to. I think I started doing the self-defense classes again out in Stone Mountain for the ladies, my women's self-defense class, because crime is on the rise. You understand what I'm saying? And sisters are catching it, man. These gender wars are going on the internet. Brothers are clicking off them programs and going and being very violent towards women. So I'm still training women how to defend themselves, and I'm definitely still doing the firearms training, man. So people can contact me at 678-557-2919.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Griff. My lady is gonna have a gun lesson or whatever you want to call it with Griff in about a week. So I want to thank that brother personally for teaching the ladies about how to handle the gun. I talked to him yesterday. My lady actually just asked me today about, yo, when you going? I'm like, yo, I just talked to Griff yesterday. It's funny you asked me. But I want to thank Griff for teaching the ladies about firearm safety. Very, very, very important.
That's a
There's
must.
days when I'm at work, I'm outside, and my
Right.
lady's at home by
Right.
herself with my son. So
Right.
I appreciate you for that, Griff. My lady will get with you next week, and I advise all the women, if y'all in Atlanta, come check my brother Griff. Me and him got something coming up, by the way, too. Real
Right.
big in terms of that. So, but go ahead, Red, before we get out of here.
Yeah, I concur that all women should at this point at least know how to shoot, you know, the aim, get your, you know, get past the fear aspect of pulling that trigger. I'm telling you, it is very therapeutic. You have no idea.
Right.
Tap in with Griff and get this lethal and non-lethal training. Backed by popular demand, the people have been hitting me up hard body about this AI stuff. This week that just passed was one of the biggest weeks in artificial intelligence. Chat GPT can actually see now, it can hear, it can actually talk. You know what I mean? It has powers to browse the internet on a up to date information and data. There are Meta is coming out with new AI glasses, Ray-Bans, that you could go live with the Ray-Bans hands-free. That's going to open up a whole industry of content creating and whatnot.
Yeah.
POV content creating is about to take over. So there's a lot of shifts that are taking place right now. So I'm doing a 4-week class to get the people for third quarter and fourth quarter of 2023 in order, giving them updated information. It's a 4-week intensive, 40 AIs in the mule that's taking place on my Patreon. It's starting tomorrow, October the 1st at 4:44 p.m. only on Zoom, only on my Patreon, Red Pillar /Patreon. The link is in the bio. And we also have Ross Ben doing a 4-week masterclass with us. So yeah, tap in with me and get this information, because I promise you, you have no idea how much opportunity is available at your fingertips right now for children from all the way from 5 years old, all the way up to elders, all the way in your 60s and whatnot. The shit that this stuff is doing, the stuff the technology is advancing to as I'm speaking to you is monumental. All right, it's monumental. The DALL-E 3 is about to drop. I mean, it's just too much to speak about. So we're gonna do these Patreon class. So yeah, thank you. And my video, Red Opals, is dropping at midnight, pardon me, on KTL Know the Ledge Media. We're going to drop this video. Red Summer coming very, very soon. It's loading up. Peace.
Let me just shout out Black Dot, man.
The legend.
Yeah,
Shout out Black
definitely,
Dot.
man.
Shout out Black
Yeah.
Dot.
And Malcolm, the legend, the whole family.
Urban X.
Urban X TV.
Urban X. Hey, family, this is Brother Rich. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Family, we are going right into October. October is going to be known as God Power Month. I want everybody to sign up for Blueprint for God Power Part 2. I mean, I've put my heart and soul into this workshop. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. The link is in the description. There's so many wonderful things coming up that could benefit y'all. And I just ask y'all to, go with what resonates with your heart. I give you so many options on this channel. I give you so many speakers. I give you so many perspectives. I give you so many ways to go to the light that we call God. Find what resonates with you and just stick with that. There's no need to debate, argue, fight with each other. Just do what works for you, family, and be the best version of yourself. But this right here, Blueprint for God Power 2, it's absolutely phenomenal. Shout out to Red. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Griff, for coming on the show. We'll talk to both of you, brother Samal. With that being said, family, we getting out of here. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Peace.
Peace, man.